parents, who are the people who give us the values and the principles and the education and the lessons with which we move forward in life. So I do want to recognize Mr. Kalra. Ashu will thank him himself, but I wanted to also acknowledge all your contributions to Ashu's life. And so, ladies and gentlemen, here's to the first Indo-American Council member in the city of San Jose, Ash Kalra.
Well, I want to thank everyone for being here, and there are so many great leaders in this room that I have learned from over the years, and I'm glad that Annie had the opportunity to introduce many of them, because I could go one by one and tell each and every one of you what you've meant to me and what you've meant to the community. But I do want to recognize the three individuals that helped to sponsor this event. Raj Binod, Uncle, you've been a great leader in the community and a great role model for me. And I really want to thank you for the support you've given me in this campaign. And Anil Sood, Uncle, where's Uncle? There you are. Okay. You know, we do know each other a long time, almost my whole life, and I really have to give you a lot of credit for all the work that you've done and your family has done in putting this together. I know how hard you worked, and obviously it's paid off. As I was mentioning earlier, sometimes we put a lot of work into trying to organize fundraisers, and 5 or 10 people show up, and we find that to be a success. Clearly, you have done something amazing here to bring the community together, along with the other sponsors, and I really want to thank you for that. And Mohinder Man, Mohinder has been a mentor of mine for a very long time. And, you know, and I'm going to speak on this in a little bit about the foundation it takes to run. But I will say that Mohinder, you know, he was the first Indo-American attorney I'd ever met in my life. You know, and so he's been a role model for me in many different facets of my life. And Mohinder Man and Annie Dandavati have both been role models in my political activism. And so I want to thank both of you for that in leading me to where I am today, and I'm sure helping to mentor me into the future as well. So thank you both for that. So here I am running for City Council. The election's, what, 6, 7 weeks away now. We're almost at the end of this primary election. And it's already been an amazing experience. I'll tell you that in my life, there have been so many things that have happened to me to lead me to this point. So many influences I've had that have led me to this point. And Annie's right, I am going to mention my father because he's the first and strongest influence I have. And for those of you that know my father, he's a very humble man. One of the most intelligent people I've ever met in my life. And someone that's always been about being honest and truthful, and has really instilled that in me for my own entire life. And it's really what has led me to service. And so I want to thank my father for that. My brother and my sister-in-law, Vinay and Suman, are here. They came a little bit late because they were actually knocking on doors before they came here. And they've been coming out religiously every week, knocking on doors, being very supportive, helping with everything and anything that I ask of them. And of course, you know, my brother has always been a rock in my life. You know, for my entire life. He's about 4 or 5 years older than me, and over the years I've really come to appreciate who he is and what he has become to me in my life as a foundation as well. And so I want to thank my brother. And when I thank my father, I'm not just thanking my father or my parents for what they've given to me. I'm thanking so many of you in this room for the foundation you've given to me and to our community and to my generation to be able to do what it is that I seek to do today and I seek to do in this election. The reality is that I know that my parents had to sacrifice in order for myself and for my brother to have the opportunity to focus just on school and to decide what it is we wanted to do and to be able to have the luxury of having options, which is something that I know that my parents and so many of the first generation didn't have. Options are an amazing thing. options are freedom. And when you have that freedom, it's such a powerful, powerful tool to have. And I've chosen to use that freedom to try to give back because of what has been given to me by my parents, by my family, and by all of the uncles and aunties over my life that have shown me what it takes to work hard, that have shown me what it takes to sacrifice for your family, and that have shown me what it takes to make an honest living and to contribute back to your community. So I want to thank all of you in here that have played that role for me as the first generation to come to this country. So thank you. And when you talk about running for office, the political part of it, it's not something you can just wake up one day and say, okay, I want to run for political office. It takes many years of sacrifice, community service and public service, but it also takes the role models, like I mentioned before, like Mohinder and Annie, who have been so active politically and have shown me what can be done if you work with others in the community. Reach outside your comfort zone and bring people in. I appreciate the words spoken by Bob Dylan. And we were the first tandem ever on the Planning Commission. There are only 7 members of the Planning Commission. It is the most influential commission in the city, and the 2 of us served together, and I was very proud to have somebody sitting up there with me that was also Indian, and to know that over the years we have started to take these leadership roles. We do have commissioners here. We do have people that are willing to make that sacrifice. And so Bob Dylan ran for city council, and a very courageous step. And I find out more and more every day how courageous it is, because it's certainly a very difficult endeavor. And I want to thank him for being that one to take that first step here in the city of San Jose to allow me to have the courage to do what I'm doing as well. And the last thing I want us to talk about is what we are as a community, as an Indian community, as Americans, what we are and what is owed to us, but more importantly, what we owe back to this community. This country has given me so much, and I know it's given many of us in this room a lot. We've earned it. The community has earned it, but we've also reaped a lot of the rewards of the community. A perfect example is our host here today, David, who, and I wanted to thank David for doing this here today. I mean, it's completely more than anyone could expect. And I want to bring you up, David, as an example of someone, as we talked the other day, that used to work here in the kitchen, and now he owns the place. And he's an example of what the Indian community has and does contribute to this city and to this country. And it's so important for us to find ways to contribute back. We've done well. I think the mark of I think as a community, I think we've done a good job when it comes to being successful. Creating wealth, not just for ourselves, but for this country, for our city, for our community. And that's the mark of a good community. The mark of a great community is taking that next step, which we are doing, which is reaching out to those outside of our community, which is taking the step and taking the responsibility of serving on boards, serving on commissions, running for office. That's the mark of the great community, and that's the community that we're becoming. And we're right in the heart of that right now. And I think we can take it to an even another level, a far greater level. What we need to do and continue to do is reach out to those outside of the Indian and outside of the South Asian community. Build those bridges. Build the bridges with our friends and our brothers and sisters in the Latino community and the African American community. Build bridges with those our friends that are in the white community that have welcomed us many times in their communities as we live side by side. And we need to work together with those of us in the larger Asian community. Otto Lee is here. We serve on the board of the Asian Pacific American Democratic Club, which is a club that focuses on empowering candidates and focuses on finding candidates to run that are Asian American. Not just Indian, not just Japanese, not just Chinese or Korean. Asian, all of us, empowering each other. And when our community, and as our community takes that next step, we will move from a great community to a community that's the best. Because then that's when we truly can not only find the American dream for ourselves, but we can help others find their American American dream true, too. So I want to thank all of you for being here today. I look forward to this campaign, and I sincerely want to thank you for the contributions you make. To me, personally, monetarily, those of you that are knocking on doors and making phone calls and doing whatever you can to help me in my campaign, but also what you give to the community. And I really, really look so forward to working with all of you over the next few years, and not only making this city a better place, but putting the Indian community on the map as well, and making a mark in this city for the Indian community that will last forever. So thank you.